Welcome to this edition of Stay at Home Connect. I'm Phyllis Jackson.
Georgia remains under a public state of emergency until December 9th. Officials say residents should stay home, but if you must go out, wear a mask. As cases increase, officials with the Georgia Department of Public Health say more people are trying to get a COVID-19 test. If you need to get tested, go to dph.georgia.gov/COVID testing. That's dph.georgia.gov/COVID testing. Concerns about another super spreader leads the CDC to issue a stern warning. The agency is asking citizens to forego Thanksgiving travel and stay home. Some airlines are allowing passengers to cancel flights for free or with a credit. Fulton County schools will offer the option of in-person or remote learning after the Thanksgiving holiday. Parents have until December 11th to let the district know the plans for their children. The Georgia Secretary of State certifies election results, confirming the presidential win for Joe Biden by more than 12,000 votes. Brad Raffensperger says there's no evidence of voter fraud. Since the pandemic began, Hosea Helps has seen a 400% increase in requests for food. The organization is celebrating 50 years of service to Metro Atlanta. Although the annual Thanksgiving event will have a different look due to the pandemic, Hosea Helps will continue its mission of providing food and other assistance to those who need it. Citizens will receive everything they need for Thanksgiving dinner and food for a few days beyond. The nonprofit consulted with the CDC, which furnished new guidelines. I caught up with Hosea Helps President and CEO Elizabeth Amalami.
We can have one station on Thanksgiving Day where the cars drive through, pop up their trunk, and we put the food in their trunk, and they keep going. So that's one thing we'll be doing at the Georgia World Congress Center on Thanksgiving Day. The second thing is the homeless. So, that's our heart, is the homeless and the unsheltered. They will be able to walk up and get as many sandwiches, fruit, chips, and drinks as they can carry, as well as a bag of pop-top cans of tuna, beef stew, and other food items. And they will have to take that with them and go back to their tent cities or their shelters, because they're not allowing us to have any groups of people sitting and eating.
The third station will be for distribution of personal protective equipment, or PPE, so they can take it back to their respective communities and distribute it to curb the spread of the virus. There will also be information on rent, mortgage, and utility assistance on site. The organization is in need of volunteers and donations. So if you'd like to help, go to forhosea.org. That's the number 4, hosea.org.
I've got $1 million to spend.
You might remember Atlanta City Council member Amir Farouqi's Downtown Decides, a participatory budget initiative. Well, he recently joined with District 2 residents to check out the fruits of its labor. 2 ADA-compliant crosswalks at Ted Turner and Williams at Peachtree.
That's a wrap. We'll see you on the next edition of Stay at Home Connect.
Okay.
What's going on today?
Today we're in West End at the Goodwill, and I'm one of the people that are being honored as an unsung hero.
Cleta is my girl. Cleta is one of the hardest working council members in the city.
Cleta's been providing leadership on council since I was in kindergarten.
Talk to that girl right now. What would you say? What would you say to her?
You mean from back then?
Just talk to her. Just talk to her.
Wow, you come a long way. And you're not done yet. You still got many miles to go.
Oh yeah, I was gonna let y'all take the second. Did she believe she would get on a wall?
No.
She didn't do it for the wall, did she?
It's very special to be honored. Somebody wanted my photograph a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't send it. I said, I don't need to be honored. So I didn't think any more about it until somebody sent me the mural, a picture of the mural. So I thought they were playing a joke on me, so I had to come over and see it. So it's a privilege. Tennessee State University and Clark Atlanta University School of Social Work helped to make me. But God has led me to this place, and I'm very grateful.
Job well done, madam.
Very good.
Job well done. Job well done.
Thank you.
Welcome to Stay at Home Connect. I'm Phyllis Jackson.
Many Georgia hospitals and intensive care units approaching capacity. Dr. Janet Memark is the Public Health Department Director for Cobb and Douglas County.
We have critically low critical care beds at this point, so probably one available in the county, and then there are low medical surgical beds. So remember previously I had said that the hospitals were busy and they weren't all COVID patients. Well, we're seeing more and more COVID patients that are being admitted.
Georgia election workers are back at work recounting votes from the presidential race. The Trump administration made the request. Unlike the hand count, which confirmed Joe Biden as the winner, this time the ballots are going through a scanner. Georgia counties have a deadline of December 2nd. Despite the warnings from the CDC advising against travel, millions of people are doing just that this Thanksgiving week. The TSA reporting more than 1 million people screened at U.S. airports. Atlanta City Council member Natalie Archibong takes part in a special Thanksgiving food giveaway with the Marcel Anderson Foundation. The event took place at the East Lake YMCA.
Before COVID-19, this wonderful foundation that was birthed out of a business in East Atlanta decided to help families have the ability to have a home-cooked meal. Instead of standing in line for food around Thanksgiving, cook the food at your own house. Have the dignity of independence and being supported by your community.
Residents received everything from dressing and vegetables, along with a gift card for turkey. Atlanta City Council member Marcy Collier Overstreet joins with reality star Candy Burris Tucker and Gooder for a Thanksgiving grocery store pop-up.
This Thanksgiving is not like any other Thanksgiving. Everyone has challenges that they've never had before. And more than ever, everyone needs these groceries, and they really want to get with their family in a small setting to enjoy Thanksgiving. And this is a way that we're doing that.
Everybody hold your horns if you're ready for the holiday.
Councilmember Andrea Boone joins Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms and rapper T.I. for the annual Thanksgiving food giveaway at Jackson Memorial Church. Endless rows of turkeys, collard greens, and other Thanksgiving dinner staples were handed out during the drive-thru event.
We are here to celebrate Thanksgiving with some of the residents in this community that are really in need of help.
That's a wrap. We'll see you on the next edition of Stay at Home Connect.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Madeline Archibong, and I am the chair of the City Utilities Committee, and this is our December 1st, 2020 meeting. I would like to call this meeting to order, and as the first order of business, have Mr. Jared Evans, our analyst, conduct a roll call.
Good morning, thank you. Councilmember Andrea L. Boone.
Present.
Councilmember Dustin Hillis.
Here.
Councilmember J.P. Matzkite.
Here.
Councilmember Joyce Shepard.
Present.
Councilmember Howard Shook. Councilmember Cleta Winslow.
Present.
Madam Chair, there is a quorum present.
Thank you very much. And at this time, I'd like to ask, because at this point I'm having computer issues, I wanted to know if anyone else needs to do voice voting at this time.
Shook, aye.
Councilmember Boone, and Councilmember Winslow. Okay. Boone, Shook, Winslow, and at this point, Archibong until Damon, come look at my computer. All right. Thank you. We do have a quorum, and so with that, I will now ask Section C for a reading of the remote meeting statement, please.
This City Utilities Committee is being conducted remotely as advertised and in accordance with OCGA 50-14-1. The meeting will be conducted in conformance with Robert's Rules of Order and the Rules of Council as authorized by City Code. The public may access the meeting by dialing 877-579-6743, conference ID 831-599-1256, which was noted on the November 23rd public meeting notice. The public may also view the meeting on Channel 26, the Council's homepage at citycouncil.atlantaga.gov, the Council's YouTube channel, or the Council's Facebook and Twitter pages via @ATL All presentations are available on the Atlanta City Council City Utilities Committee presentation page. The agenda was published and made available Monday, November 23rd via atlantacityga.iqm2.com. Additionally, the public was able to submit comments via voicemail at 404-330-6057 between the hours of 4 and 7 p.m. the day before the meeting. These comments will be played during the public comment portion of this meeting. All persons present on the remote council meeting conference bridge are requested to mute your phones and speakers. Additionally, speakers must be acknowledged by the presiding officer prior to speaking. Each council member is requested to open your Outlook email and minimize the screen. Amendments, substitutes, and informational documents have been distributed to committee members beforehand. Thank you all in advance for your cooperation.
All right, thank you very much for reading that. Next order of business is the adoption of the agenda. Mr. Evans, do we have any walk-in papers?
The committee has no walk-in papers.
All right, thank you. So I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda. Thank you, Mr. Shook, and need a second. All right, I'll second it. At this point, we can open the vote. This is an electronic vote if you're able.
The vote is open.
All right, thank you. Ms. Boone, how do you vote? Yes. Ms. Winslow, how do you vote? In favor. All right, thank you.
The vote is closed at 7 yeas.
All right, thank you. The agenda has been adopted. Next, a motion for the approval of the minutes. I'll entertain a motion.
Shook.
Thank you for making the motion. I'll second it. All right, if there's no other discussion, let's do an electronic vote on the approval of the minutes. Ms. Boone, how do you vote? Yes. Ms. Winslow, how do you vote? In favor. Thank you very much.
Is the vote closed?
Yes, the vote is closed, and it is 7 yeas.
I thank you. So now that the minutes have been approved, next we will go to public comment. Ms. Evans, please let us know how many minutes we have, and do we have public comment?
We do have public comment, and checking my notes. There are 15 comments for approximately 18 minutes of comment time.
All right, thank you, sir. If you go ahead and play those comments.
Hi, my name is Liz Brown. I own property in a little condo off of Delmont Street in Buckhead near the Peach Shopping Center. And I just wanted to voice my dismay in the sanitation increase fees that we have been forced to pay. We pay for private trash pickup. The city county does not pick up our trash. There's no street sweeping. I don't know if you guys even do that, but you don't do that back within our facility, within our driveways and our parking lot. We don't use any kind of, our landscape people put all of their refuse in our dumpster. They don't put them on the street. So we virtually don't use you guys for anything. And it's really unfair that we are burdened with all these fees that we don't even use. Plus, we live in very small homes, so we don't have like a regular freestanding multi-thousand square foot home that generates a lot of trash and things like that for you guys to pick up. So it's really unfair what you guys have done, and it's clearly because you guys haven't managed things properly. So we shouldn't have to bear the brunt of your problems. I appreciate your taking into consideration the reality of what you guys have done with these taxes on homeowners that live in multifamily developments. Thank you.
Good afternoon, City Council Committee of Atlanta for Utilities. This is Julia Murphy. You know me as Jules. And I'm calling today to ask for your reconsideration for what appears to be punitive and doubled up and just basically wrongful frontage fees affecting multifamily dwellings at small businesses and churches. And knowing that there are some 54,000 property owners who have been affected by the quote solid waste fees, close quote, that is the umbrella for things like the frontage fees in multifamily dwellings and small businesses and churches. Please reconsider those. I know that with the departure of some employees, you're clearly reconsidering things. And has there been a study? And has anyone yet been able to complete that study and present it to you? I don't think that's happened, and I've asked that you please get rid of the wrongful solid waste fees that are affecting small businesses, churches, and multifamily dwellings. Thank you so very much for your time and consideration and your leadership, especially during these challenging times. We honor you, and we thank you.
Hi, this is Rebecca King. I would like for the City Council to eliminate the solid waste fee. Condos pay for their own solid waste removal, so it is effectively a tax and should not be happening. I would also request that you eliminate the frontage fee. That amount should come out of the general fund because that is good for all of Atlanta and should not be shouldered by select groups or targeted select groups. Thank you so much. Bye.
My name is Deborah Watson, and I appreciate you listening to my comment. When I lived in a single-family detached home, I received extraordinary services from the Department of Waste Management. It was curbside pickup of garbage, yard waste, recycling, and bulk trash removal. These were all great services all managed by the city. Now I live in a two-home community, and I no longer receive any of those services. Through my association, I pay $210 annually for garbage removal. In addition to that, I pay $156 for recycling pickup. This totals $366 just for waste and recycling. Bulk waste removal can cost hundreds of dollars per trip. On top of that, we pay our landscape company have our leaves and yard waste removed, and we pay a property manager to manage these services. Waste management in my community is expensive. My accounting background tells me that solid waste services can be accounted for on a cost basis. We should not have to pay for services we do not receive. Services related to garbage, yard waste, recycling, and bulk trash should be totaled and separated from other services provided by the Department of Solid Waste. These costs should be divided between the number of households receiving those services. The balance of expenditures for costs of other services that cannot be attributed to garbage, yard waste, recycling, or bulk trash can then be divided amongst all the properties throughout the city, including single-family residences, as well as commercial buildings, multifamily properties, and communities. I've asked the commissioner and staff if these two cost centers have ever been broken out, and the answer has always been a firm no. I've not been able to even obtain a comprehensive list of those ancillary services covered by the Department of Waste Management. The public does not have a clear understanding of what all the solid waste fees cover. I would challenge each member of City Council to demand that this cost analysis be determined so that you can have a fair and equitable fee schedule. Currently, street frontage and arbitrary amounts are used to calculate fees and have no bearing on the service received or the cost of those services. Without being able to tie these services back to a cost, they appear to be more like a tax than a fee. Please reconsider the method of calculating solid waste fees and choose a fair and equitable calculation. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Gerald Kenna. I'm calling about the solid waste fees. I live in a condo that there's 271 in our building, and we pay vendors for our solid waste services. I think that fee for us is ridiculous for each person in this building. I think we really need to eliminate frontage fees and solid waste fees that are charged to commercial multifamily houses and houses of worship. So that is basically my comments. I always thought it was kind of ridiculous that we were paying that extra fee, especially since we already pay for someone to take away our trash. So this is my comments. I thank you very much. Again, my name is Jerry Kenna.
Hello, my name is Victoria Lee. I am one of the 6,000 condo owners living downtown, and I'm calling to ask the City Council to amend and rescind the frontage fee and the multi-family fee, also known as the solid waste fee, which is unfair and illegal to condo owners. We condo owners pay privately all these years for private collectors, so therefore we are charged this year $225 per unit for service we do not receive from the city, and that is outrageous. I had to cut back from my grocery this year to pay this bill, and I heard it may go up to $400 next year. Please help us out. And let the Department of Public Works know this is illegal, and they have been giving the City Council false information all this year. Thank you, and I look forward to a better result. Thank you.
Good evening. This is Patrick Newman. I live in Howard Shook's district. I would just be curious on the City of Atlanta Council's thoughts on how the lack of provision of yard waste services, yet the continued charge of hundreds of dollars for those services, is any different than outright theft of money from all of your constituents. It is incredibly frustrating, disappointing, and I consider you all know better than crooks who should be thrown in jail. Or perhaps you think charging your constituents hundreds of dollars for services that you have no intention of providing is different than theft. If so, I would love to hear your logical response as to why. Until then, please continue to degrade yourselves. Hello, this is John Smith, resident in the Buckhead area of the City of Atlanta. Wanted to make a comment about how truly appalling it is that the City of Atlanta continues to charge a solid waste pickup fee, yet for the entire duration of the COVID-19 pandemic has been completely unable to fulfill the obligation of the payment of that fee and actually consistently picking up solid waste, yet we continue to pay for it. I and many of my neighbors and likely many residents of the city are completely mystified as to what exactly we are paying for and why we haven't been reimbursed and why the city is incapable of providing even the most basic of services. It is an embarrassment, and you should all be ashamed. Thank you.
My name is Frank Snuggs. I and my wife own a condominium in Buckhead, and we wish to strongly protest the solid waste fees that are proposed to be assessed. Fees such as this are for compensation for services rendered, and there are no services rendered to us for this. Our condominium handles its own solid waste removal, does not receive any benefits from the city of Atlanta for this, and to suggest that we should pay a fee for a service that we do not receive is both ridiculous and discriminatory, and we strongly protest it, and if necessary, would be prepared to support legal action against it. Thank you. Bye.
Greetings to you, council members and staff, and special greetings to you, citizens of Atlanta, who have tuned in to take note of what your elected officials are doing and how comments from the public are being welcomed or not. Ben Howard, Senior Advocate, Public Policy Analyst. My remarks today relate to the contract People TV board members are being asked to endorse. How can this city even think about enforcing the harsh terms of that contract when the city has failed in its obligations to the People TV board? I speak specifically about the 4 People TV board slots allocated to the city council and the 3 People TV board slots allocated to the executive branch. These all need to be filled with community-conscious, grassroots citizens who believe in public television and who can help ensure that notices of People TV board meetings can get out to the public in accordance with the Georgia Open Meetings Act. By your seeing to it that these vacant slots are filled, People TV then can once again put its eyes on recalcitrant entities such as Neighborhood Planning Unit R by revitalizing APAB Rundown and APAB NPU on TV.
Hi, my name is Jane Bick. I live in a multifamily property in the Lenox area. I'm calling about solid waste fees that we are being charged when no solid waste removal service is provided to us by the city. We pay privately for that. We should not be charged for services we do not receive. The city council is looking at us as money free, and that is really not appropriate. So I can guarantee you that I am probably 90% of my neighbors will vote against our city council representative if something is not done to solve this problem. And I'm sure that other multifamily units feel the same. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Margaret Roach. I live at Cross Creek Condos. We have approximately 936 units in 97 buildings and have about 2,000 residents in our complex. I'm concerned about the solid waste and tonnage fees that are unfairly targeting commercial and multifamily properties. Cross Creek does not receive any solid waste services from the city. We pay private companies to handle our garbage, recycling, and bulk waste. We pay for these out of our HOA fees. It's outrageous to be charged for services we don't receive. It's even more outrageous that we are being charged frontage fees that are actually services that benefit the general public. Cleaning public streets and buildings benefits all citizens. The cost should not be borne by just one segment of the population. As the new year and new budget approach, I urge you to eliminate this unfair fee and to hold a public hearing on these fees so all who are affected can be heard. Thank you.
My name is Sharon Williams.
I'm a condo owner in Midtown, and I'm calling about the egregious solid waste so-called fees we're being charged for common good services. We're tired of being the cash cows for the city and find these charges we're forced to pay illegal. They should be under the city's general fund, just like every other Georgia city. Please hold a public hearing delving into the solid waste fees as soon as possible and amend the solid waste ordinance. The Department of Public Works has been lying to the Atlanta City Council since 2017 on this issue. It affects 54,000 property owners in Atlanta and includes churches, small businesses, and multifamily dwellings, collecting more than $28 million a year. Thank you.
My name is John Shepard. I've been a resident of Atlanta for 30 years. I am completely disturbed over the solid waste fees that are being charged to me as a condo owner. The front footage fee and the single family fee are illegal, embarrassing, and should not be charged to residents. As everyone on the council should know, condos are required to remove their own garbage, waste, and recyclable materials. And we do that, and we pay for that under a contract with a private contractor. Then we turn around and we get charged by the City of Atlanta for the same services that the City of Atlanta does not perform for us. These fees are erroneous. They are illegal. They need to be stopped. City Council needs to stop this immediately. We are being mischarged for this. This year's charges for 54,000 people involved come to over $28 million. Please take action to stop these charges. The front foot charge and the single family charge. The front footage charge and the single family charge. Illegal. Please stop them. Thank you. That's the end of my message.
Good afternoon. My name is Sean Michael Flynn, and I'm leaving this message at 5 p.m. on Monday, November 30th. I'm calling in reference to the city's solid waste fees. And I'm hereby respectfully requesting that the City of Atlanta rescind frontage fees and solid waste fees that specifically target multi-family properties like the one that I live in. The frontage fee to keep Atlanta clean is not distributed equitably. I'm part of an alliance that has looked into this issue quite closely, and that is our view of things, that this frontage fee to keep Atlanta clean is not at all distributed equitably. That's a huge issue for me. The solid waste fee is being charged and no solid waste removal service is being provided by the city. So I think it's fair to say that I'm very much outraged that I'm continuing to pay a very large fee for services that are not being provided by the City of Atlanta. So again, I'm submitting these comments respectfully, and I hope that you will take into consideration what I and others are having to say about this inequity. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Does that conclude public comment?
Yes, that does. I might have been muted. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Let's see. Colleagues, I am online now, so if anyone wanted to speak, but I did want to make a few general, and we have been joined by Council President Felicia Moore. I do see someone wants to speak. I don't know who that is. Who has asked to speak? Can you see Mr. Evans?
You have Councilmember Shook and then Councilmember Hillis indicated.
Let's go in that order, please. Mr. Shook.
Yeah, thank you. I found the comments to be extremely interesting, as evidently they all came from the 7th District, and so hopefully the people who left those comments have tuned in, and that thus can allow me to remind people that I voted against the policy that people have complained about today. And Mr. Evans, I have emailed you. Please transmit to me whatever contact information was left by our public commenters regarding the solid waste program so that I can reach out to them personally. And then also, and I'm not sure who from the administration is on this call, and we get an update as to the long-awaited second rate study.
Okay, and I've reached out to a couple of people, and they are, I believe, on the line to respond to that. But let's go to Mr. Hillis, so maybe they could respond comprehensively. Mr. Hillis?
Thank you, Chairwoman Rushmong. My request is the same as Councilmember Shrubs. I was seeking an update on the rate study, and then also, I'm sure it will require an executive session, either this committee meeting or the next council meeting, but an update on the lawsuit related to such.
All right, thank you. So I understand representatives from the law department as well as from the Department of Public Works are on the line. So whoever gets unmuted first.
I'm unmuted, but I haven't heard the question. I just got on the line. This is Nina Hickson.
All right, good morning, City Attorney Hickson. The question is relative to the status of the litigation, which we know would need to be in an executive session, and when can we schedule that? But most importantly, an update on the status of the rate study.
As relates to the litigation in which the current rate structure is the subject, we can be available anytime that the council wishes us to be available to provide information regarding the pending litigation. But it currently is pending before the court. The most recent decision has related to the class action status and has not yet gotten to the merits of the case. In connection with that, however, we also have, on behalf of the city, retained an entity to do the rate study. It was our hope to have the rate study completed by the end of the calendar year. It does not appear that that will occur. However, we hope to be in a position close to the beginning of the new year where we will be able to present a proposed rate study that would have to then go through the process of being shared with the public before it could actually be voted on. And so it's our hope to be able within the first quarter to have something that in terms of a new rate structure that can be provided to the council for it to vote on for the public's sake. But as relates to the current structure, it is the subject of litigation. There haven't been any substantive rulings on on whether it is legal or not. However, we are in the process of working on a new structure, and we'll make ourselves available to the council when it decides that it needs to have an executive session about the pending litigation.
All right, thank you. Colleagues, any additional questions from City Attorney Hickson? Has anyone indicated with their speaker button, Mr. Evans?
There are no new speakers indicated by the button.
Just see one member popped up. I can't see who it is.
Councilmember Shook may wish to speak again.
Yes, sir, Mr. Shook.
Well, no, I thank Ms. Hickson. My question relates to the study in terms of a follow-up, but it's not for her. We would all like a kind of a full understanding of why this the delivery date just keeps getting eternally pushed back.
I can provide you some information in that regard based on what has been explained to me by the consultant. Part of the issue relates to the ability to collect information from another vendor who has provided services to the city related to the actual billing that goes from the city to Fulton County. There have been a number of issues obtaining that information in a timely manner, and so that has been the biggest problem or issue as it relates to the timing of getting the rate studies done. And so that is what I can tell you about the biggest cause of the delay.
All right. Who, and again, the 6 and 8, you probably shouldn't be the one answering for others here, but who is the administration's point person for this process?
I believe it's Mr. Johnson, Justin Johnson at this point.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, City Attorney Hickson. Now, is Ms. Braswell on the line? From Public Works? Or someone from Public Works?
Yes, I am.
All right, so did you hear the question?
I heard a number of the questions, yes.
Okay. So, anything you'd like to get an update on or to explain?
Well, I think the explanation that the city attorney gave kind of gives guidance on what we can say and what we can't say. There are a number of items that we look at. As far as the rate study, I would have to look at specific addresses to comment on what their bills were. So at the end of this call, we'll go back and get the information from Jared on the specifics of their questions and respond to each one accordingly.
Well, I thought you mentioned the fact that part of the billing involves 911 fees.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. And then some of the bills have all of the parcels are billed 911. So again, we would have to look specifically at each individual parcel, their bills, and we can respond to each one individually on the components of their bills.
And then the larger issue, of course, will be resolved with the rate study and litigation. I see 2 additional members have hit their buttons. Mr. Evans, who do we have in the queue?
The speakers are Councilmember Shook and Councilmember Hillis.
Please go in that order. Mr. Shook?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I meant to take my name off.
All right, Mr. Hillis?
Thank you, Chairwoman. My question, I guess, is for Ms. Hickson. Please remind me, who is the consultant we have hired to do the new rate study, and who is the vendor that you referenced that we are having issues getting information from?
The rate study, the principal is Vita Quinn, and I'll have to look up the name of her organization. I think it's SES or something along those lines. And then the local vendor, if you could give me 1 second to pull it up, it's just not on the tip of my tongue. If you could give me a second to check that so that I can be accurate. Or if somebody wants to send a text if they can answer the question, I appreciate it. Yes, okay. Vita Quinn with SCS Engineers. That's the entity that's doing the actual rate study.
And you said her first name is Rita, you said?
Vita, V-I-C-A, Vita Quinn. And if I can... Okay, and then the other entity is ISS. That's the entity that does the billing, and the individual is Clayton Bell is the principal for that entity.
And what's the extent of the issues we're having with them? Just they're not being responsive, or?
Timeliness in response and completeness of the information being provided.
Understood. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I have a question. I've heard from the public that they'd like to have a work session, and given the fact that we're in litigation, would a work session be advisable at this time, or do we need to wait till the rate study, or what would be the recommendation?
At this point, I would request as counsel for the city that I don't know that a work session would be that helpful, given that we're in the midst of completing the new rate study, and any of the issues that would be discussed as relates to the current structure are all subject of the litigation. So I don't know that it would be that helpful to do that at this time.
All right. All right, thank you.
May I add, though, that I also was told that one of the other issues with the delay has to do with information that we're receiving from Fulton County, that there's been a delay in receiving that information also.
Okay, all right, thank you. And is one of the, and I don't know how, this may not be something that can be answered, but in the array of options that may be available as we move forward, looking at adjustments to prior bills, would that be a possibility, or will we have to look forward prospectively? How would that work?
That's the subject of executive session.
Okay.
Madam.
All right, but that's not something that should be discussed now, but that's the question that's out there, so we will get to it when we get to it, when we can, and share it with the public when we can. Is that a fair statement?
That is correct.
All right. Thank you very much. Colleagues, any other questions on this issue? All right, I don't see anyone else in the queue, so thank you very much. I see Deputy Commissioner Johnson, did you want to add anything? I see you're on the call.
Good morning, Madam Chair. No, ma'am, it sounds as if that Attorney Hickson has answered most of the questions, but I'm available to support any of the questions that she may need me to add a little bit more color to, if necessary.
Okay, all right. Well, I think we are in a posture now where we know we just need to get more information after the study is done and when we can go into executive session. So thank you all very much for being available. With that, we will move on to our next agenda item. So we have no ordinances for first reading, is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, so we'll move on to G, ordinances for second reading, please.
Item number 1, 20-016-94, an ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to amend the FY 2021 Water and Wastewater Renewal and Extension Fund budget in the amount of $10 million and 0 cents to transfer funds from the Watershed Reserve for appropriations and add funds to the most stormwater maintenance and restoration project and for other purposes.
All right, my notes say that 1, 9, and 10. Do you want to read all of them together? Oh.
Sure, if the commission wants to take them as a block, I'll read the other two at this point.
All right, with that section, please do that.
Item number 9, 20-R4667, a resolution by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to exercise renewal number 2 for FC 10244A, annual contract for stormwater upgrade and repair services with Southeastern Site Development, Inc., Lewis Contracting Services, LLC, JV, on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management for a term of 1 year, effective February 6, 2021 through February 5th, 2022, in an amount not to exceed $5 million and 0 cents. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the department, organization, and account number listed herein and for other purposes. Item number 10, 20R4668, a resolution by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to exercise renewal number 2 for FC 10244B, annual contract for stormwater upgrade and repair services with Kimmy Construction Company, Inc., Integrated Construction Management, Inc., JV, on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management for a term of 1 year effective February 6, 2021 through February 5, 2022, in an amount not to exceed $5,000,000.00. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the fund department, organization, and account number listed herein and for other purposes.
All right, thanks. I understand Mr. Todd Hill is on the line to walk us through these papers. Mr. Hill.
Good morning, Todd Hill, Department of Watershed Management. This is renewal number 2 for the annual stormwater contract that is funded through the Municipal Option Sales Tax Fund. And this is to allow us to continue on with our work. This is allowing $5 million to each contractor, $5 million to Southeastern Site Development and Lewis Contracting, and $5 million to Kimmy Construction and Integrated Construction Management. Most of this work is construction cleaning and assessment projects and pipelines, and also our stormwater asset inventory. That is a 5-year process to do a total inventory of all our stormwater assets throughout the entire city. Things that we've accomplished under this contract since we've received it. For our asset management, we've completed 78 miles of pipe cleaning and cleaning of 925 structures cleaned and inspected. In District 12, we did an asset inventory for 6,000 structures as part of our stormwater asset inventory. And in District 4, we had Dean Russ Park detention and pond retrofits, which is forecasted to be completed at the end of December. In District 8, we had the Blue Heron Nature Preserve wetland restoration. And in District 5, we had the collection and conveyance system for Oak Ridge Avenue Southeast, Hosea Williams Drive Northeast, which is forecasted to be complete in January. And in District 4, collection and conveyance system for Beecher Street Southwest, which is forecast to be complete in September 2021. Upcoming projects include a citywide inventory of all our stormwater assets, part of the 5-year process. And then District 5 collection and conveyance system for Warren Street Northeast and Kirkwood. This contract allows us to continue to respond to citizen complaints about flooding and allow us to assess flooding issues and determine the best method to move forward on completing projects to alleviate flooding in the area, as well as to have a better, make sure that our system is functioning at its best ability.
All right, thank you. So the $10 million deplete the account. I know a certain percentage of the most dollars are to be used for stormwater purposes. Where does the $10 million leave us with a balance remaining in that account?
Right now, we have authorized in our agreement $34.4 million, and we've utilized $19.1 with all the others already spoken for our projects and our cleaning. So this will continue on with that work.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Colleagues, any questions? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve, Hillis.
Thank you. We need a second.
Shook.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. If there's no further unreadiness, please open the vote. Ms. Boone, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Winslow, thank you. Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
All right, thank you.
The vote is closed. It's 78.
All right, that is unanimous. Thank you very much. Those 3 items stand approved. Next item, please, Mr. Evans.
Item number 2, 20-0-1695, An ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to amend the FY 2021 Water and Wastewater Renewal and Extension budget in the amount of $333,266.40 to transfer funds from the Watershed Project Reserve for appropriations and add funds to the Georgia Department of Transportation Utilities Municipal Intergovernmental Agreements projects and for other purposes.
All right, I understand Mr. Boccaro is on the line to speak to us about this paper.
Good morning, Madam Chair and council members.
Good morning.
Good morning. This is Deputy Commissioner Rob Boccaro, Department of Watershed Management. Georgia Department of Transportation is sponsoring a street milling and resurfacing project in Fulton County along State Route 92 from Bay Street to Cascade Palmetto Highway. Watershed Management has 139 water valves that are in conflict with this project. So the scope of work will involve lowering water valves prior to milling and uncovering and raising the grade of the utilities after the resurfacing is complete. The legislation will add $333,266.10 for this project. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Colleagues, any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Shook.
All right, Mr. Shook makes the motion. I need a second, please.
Second, Hillis.
Thank you, Mr. Hillis. Has been properly moved and seconded. There's no unreadiness. Please open the vote. All right, Ms. Boone, how do you vote?
Yes, Madam Chair, I am online now.
Oh, you're online. Okay, great. So, Ms. Winslow, how do you vote? Ms. Winslow? All right, let's go ahead and close the vote.
The vote is closed at 6 yeas.
All right, thank you. That's unanimous. That is approved. Thank you. Next item.
Item number 3, 20R 4661. A resolution by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to issue task order number 143 for agreement FC 7383A Architectural Engineering and Design Services with Arcadis BPA joint venture, a joint venture of Arcadis G&M Inc. and Friendly Peters and Associates Inc. for post-closure and landfill maintenance of city-owned landfills on behalf of the Department of Public Works in an amount not to exceed $666,500.00, with all contracted work to be charged to and paid from the fund, department, organization, and account numbers listed herein and for other purposes.
All right, thank you. Mr. Hillis, did you hit your speaker button?
Yes.
Did you want to hear from the department first?
Yes, I have some questions.
Okay, so you want to ask the question first?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. The first question is specific to this task order and this post-closure landfill maintenance. I understand generally what that maintenance consists of, but what part of the maintenance are we asking these contractors with performing?
Okay. Carla Lipscomb, Department of Public Works Manager Senior. In particular, this money will fund water drainage project at the Gun Club landfill. The main task is to create proper drainage so that we don't have water issues. And the funding will also cover our routine groundwater monitoring that's required by the state.
Understood. Thank you for that. And this, I know this contract stretches over multiple departments, so this may be a question for procurement. But what is the history of this FC 7383A? I believe it was initially authorized in 2015 with original 3 years and then 2 one-year renewals. That would bring it at 5 years, which is 2020. So where are we with the timeline of the contract?
This is Carla Lipscomb again. In general, this contract currently being reviewed by the Department of Procurement so that we can advertise it for solicitation. We did a 90-day extension, and then that will expire on February 7th, 2021.
Understood. Thank you for that. Thank you, Councilwoman, or Councilman Archibald, Chairwoman Archibald. That concludes my question.
Okay, all right. Thank you. So, Ms. Lipscomb, did you want to give a general overview of this paper, please?
Okay, absolutely. As mentioned, this legislation is for an existing A&E contract for Arcadis, who are responsible for the landfill post-closure care activities. That includes groundwater sampling, methane sampling, monitoring, and maintenance. Some of the maintenance is routine, and some of it is on emergency basis or as-needed basis. And this amount is to cover the additional 90 days added by the extension.
Any questions or any concerns?
Move approval.
Who is that, please? I couldn't hear the voice.
Sure.
All right, Mr. Shook moves approval. Is there a second?
Winslow, second.
Thank you, Ms. Winslow. If there's no other unreadiness, let's open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. It's 7 yeas.
All right, thank you. That is approved unanimously. Thank you. Next paper.
Item number 4, 20R4662, a resolution by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor on behalf of the City of Atlanta to accept a donation of 125 dual compartment trash and recycling receptacles from Simple Human LLC with an approximate value of $31,500.00 for the purpose of increasing recycling visibility and improving recycling access within city buildings, especially City Hall and 72 Marietta Street, and for other purposes.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Wiseman. Are you on the phone?
I haven't received confirmation that she joined the call as planned.
So is someone here from Public Works? Do we see Public Works? Who is it?
It's the Mayor's Office of Resilience.
Right. All right. If no one's on the line, do any colleagues have any questions, or are you ready to move forward?
Yeah, Shook moves.
That's a good idea. Yeah, sounds like a good idea. Mr. Shook moves approval. Is there a second? Ms. Winslow?
Second, Ms. Winslow.
Thank you very much. If there's no unreadiness, please let's open that vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed at 7 yeas.
All right, that is unanimously approved. Thank you very much. Next paper.
Items number 5 and 6 are similar and both asked to be held by the department. Would the committee like to take them together?
Yeah, go ahead, please, unless there's objection.
Item number
Hearing
5.
none, please go ahead.
Item number 5, 20R4663, a resolution by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Hateville on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management to continue the supply of water service to the City of Hateville for a term of 25 years effective January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2046, and for other purposes. Item number 6, 20R4664, a resolution by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the Clayton County Water Authority on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management to continue the supply of water service to Clayton County, Georgia, for a term of 25 years effective January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2046, and for other purposes.
So the motion from the department is to hold. I will make that motion. Is there a second?
Sure.
All right, thank you. If there's no other questions, please open the vote.
The vote is open.
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you very much.
The vote is closed. It's 7 yeas.
All right, thank you. That's to be held. Both papers are to be held. All right, next.
Item number 7, 20R4665, a resolution by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to execute an intergovernmental agreement for the intergovernmental agreement number listed, long-term water quantity and water quality monitoring program with the United States Geological Survey on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management for a term of 1 year with 4 one-year renewal term options effective January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2021, in an amount not to exceed $448,960.00. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the fund department, organization, and account number listed and for other purposes.
All right, Mr. Hill, are you on the line?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, Todd Hill, Department of Watershed Management.
Good morning.
This contract is for the jointly funded Department of Watershed Management USGS monitoring station. This contract enables the Department of Watershed Management to collect and view real-time stream water quality data. This stream monitoring network has been in place since 2002, so it's been going on for 18 years. By funding this outside objective surface water quality data collection, it illustrates that Atlanta and the Department of Watershed Management endeavor to be good stewards of the environment. The monitoring station network helps foster and maintain trust with our ratepayers, the public at large, and nonprofit groups like the Chattahoochee Riverkeeper, and also provides an opportunity to correlate capital improvement projects, sewer spill reduction, and policy changes to stream water quality. The collected data is viewable to the public via the internet and in terms of regulatory deliverables. The data is used to compile our annual water quality trend report, Department of Watershed Management's Watershed Protection Plan, and trigger sampling. To further illustrate the value to the real-time stream monitoring stations in this renewal, I would encourage everyone to take a moment to look over the 2019 annual water quality report and the positive gains that the watershed has made in our streams over the last 18 years due to sewer spill reduction and capital improvements. One thing to note is all the streams throughout the city of Atlanta are on the impaired streams list with EPD. However, based off the good work that we've done over the past 18 years, Clear Creek is scheduled to be delisted from the impaired stream list, which shows a great improvement in our water quality.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hill. Mr. Shook, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was just curious about the formatting of a one-year base with 4 one-year renewals. It's a little unusual.
I think that's how it was determined through procurement how to move forward with this. I mean, we've done this for the past 18 years. And so it started well before I started with the Department of Watershed Management. But basically, I believe that's how procurement told us how to move forward with this over this term of the contract.
All right. And I agree with you. This is a legacy contract and yields a lot of valuable information. It just seems 1 year base with 4 1-year renewals. It seems sort of awfully kind of arm's length and tentative in terms of our long-term interest in, doing this work. But I'll move through.
All right, thank you. It's been moved by Mr. Shook. I'll entertain a second, please.
Second, Hillis.
Thank you, Mr. Hillis. It's been moved and seconded. If there is no unreadiness, please open the vote.
The vote is open.
All right, Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you very much.
The vote is closed. There are 7 yeas.
All right, thank you. That stands approved. Thank you so much. Let's see, next.
Item number 8, 20R4666, a resolution by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor to enter into a project partnership agreement with the United States Army Corps of Engineers for the implementation of improvements to the perimeter berm at the R.M. Clayton Water Reclamation Center on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management in an amount not to exceed $1,650,000.00. All contracted work shall be charged to and paid from the Fund Department organization and account numbers listed and for other purposes.
Mr. Picaro, are you on the line?
Yes, I am. Rob Picaro, Department of Watershed Management. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, thank you.
We can.
All right. The purpose of this legislation, in fact, I just wanted to ask if this legislation can be taken with 201302. That's coming off held. It's item 15.
Yes, let's go ahead without objection. I do see we have a couple of speakers. Is there any objection to having item 15, which is in held, read in now, and we take these papers together? All right, hearing no objections, let's go ahead, Mr. Everson, read in item 15, please.
Item number 15, 201302, an ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to amend the FY 2020 Water and Wastewater Renewal and Extension Fund budget in the amount of $1,700,000.00 to transfer funds from the Watershed Reserve for Appropriations and add funds to the R.M. Clayton Levee Improvement Project and for other purposes. There is an amendment in your packet to this ordinance that reduces the amount of money from $1.7 million to $1.65 million.
Okay, let's hear from Mr. Vaccaro about this, and then we'll remember to come back and do the amendment. Mr. Vaccaro, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, the purpose of this legislation is to enter into a project partnership agreement with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. This will support the design and construction of improvements to the perimeter berm at R.M. Clayton Water Reclamation Center. The idea of the berm is to deter floodwaters from entering the facility. The non-federal sponsor has evaluated the system and determined that 3 additional feet in elevation is needed to protect the facility from stormwater, floodwater, from large rain events, as well as high flows from the Chattahoochee River. The City of Atlanta planned this project, planned this some time to support a design-build acquisition strategy. The Corps of Engineers will use the concept design material provided by the city as the basis for the design-build contract scope development. The Corps will fund 65% of the project, and Watershed will fund 35% of the project. As I mentioned, the other item of legislation that's taken off held has amended the funding from $1.7 million to $1.65 million. I believe there's some questions.
Yes. And if you're speaking, please mute your phone. I'm hearing a lot of background noise. Mr. Hillis, did you have a question?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Chairwoman Archibong. Mr. Vaccaro, my question is on the first piece of legislation, the work on the Arn-Clayton berm. That work, it is not going to affect the currently closed trail that's adjacent to the river, is it?
No, council member, it will not affect the trail.
Okay, thank you.
All right, if there are no other questions, the amendment to item 15, 20-0-1302 would be to reduce the amount from 1.7 million to 1.65 million. I do put forth that amendment. I'll need a second.
Second, Chuck.
Thank you, Mr. Cook. There's no unreadiness. Please open the vote on this amendment.
The vote is open.
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote? In favor. Thank you.
The vote is closed at 70 yeas. The item has been amended.
All right, thank you. The paper is amended. Both papers are now before us. Any questions for Mr. Vaccaro, or we will just entertain a motion on both papers?
Shook so moves approval of both papers, the health papers amended.
Right. Can we do that? Approve the motion to approve with the item 15 being as amended. Can we do that as a block with both of them together?
That is fine. We'll record the vote for both items.
Okay, great. It's been properly moved. A second, please. Someone second this motion? Winslow, second. Thank you. All right. If there's no unreadiness, please open that vote.
The vote is open.
All right, thank you.
The vote is closed at 70 yeas.
All right, both papers are approved, and item 15, as we know, was amended to reduce the budget as referenced. Does that conclude our legislative items, Mr. Evans?
Yes, it does.
All right. Wanted to remind the committee that pursuant to legislation that we passed some time ago, any papers that have been held more than a year, at the end of the year they'll just be automatically filed or denied. So please be mindful of that if you have any papers that are currently held. Is there anything else for the good of the order?
Madam Chair, I just wanted to remind people that this is election day. It's another election that's come up. It's a runoff election for the late John Lewis's seat, Congressman John Lewis, and then also for the seat that Nakima Williams had, State Senate District 39.
Thank you. That's a good announcement. I heard another.
Mr. President, Madam Chair, I just wanted to, correct what you said, because I had made that same mistake before. The paper was further amended, so you should check for papers that have been held for 12 months. It doesn't just all dump off at the end of the year. It's 12 months from the date in which it was held.
I don't know what I said, but that's what I meant to say, so thank you for putting a point on it. All right, thank you. Clarification is always good. Anything else? Any other announcements? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, and I'll second that. Thank you very much. Very good meeting, colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.